Great to be here.
And you're going to be here next Wednesday.
We'll be here next
the
Wednesday.
Day before Thanksgiving.
Day before Thanksgiving. Yep.
Well, thanks for coming in again.
Thanks for having me as a regular guest. It's always an honor to be here.
Always
Share
an
about
honor.
the hospital, the activities.
Yep.
We try to keep a lot of information out on our social media page. So if you ever are wondering what might be happening, check that out.
There you go. Thank you.
We'll
got a couple
be back
birthdays.
next week.
We got Bill Jenkins has a birthday today, David Roberts, and Carol Guyer. Happy birthday on this November 19th. Sun came up this morning at 6:35. It will set this evening at 4:30. There you go. That's it. See you tomorrow. It is 7:01.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Another country is joining a group of nations considered among America's closest allies outside of the NATO alliance. President Trump formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally. The president announced the move during last evening's White House dinner for Saudi Arabia's crown prince. The president also announced future Saudi investments in the U.S. totaling up to $1 trillion. An interesting side note, Elon Musk attended the White House dinner last evening. As far as we know, it was his first time back at the White House since his falling out with the president over the big, beautiful bill. By a wide margin, Congress has voted to release all government files concerning the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. On Wall Street, Dow futures are up 51 points. NASDAQ futures 64 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. Inflation is hitting everyone hard right now, especially when it comes to healthcare. Over the last 10 years, healthcare costs have skyrocketed by, get this, 230%. If you have Medicare Parts A and B, you know there are still out-of-pocket expenses like deductibles and co-payments, and they really add up. But here's some good news. MediShare 65 Plus is designed to fill in those gaps and help protect you from rising healthcare costs. At only $99 per month up to age 75, you get peace of mind at a price you can afford. And MediShare is trusted, too. It's been around 30 years. It's not some big impersonal thing. It's a community of people helping each other, business owners, pastors, retirees. People love it. MediShare 65 Plus just makes sense. To learn more, give them a call. They're great to talk to. They'll offer to pray with you each time you call, too. Call now, 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE-55. 833-SHARE-55.
Your home for Goodland High School athletics, the Denver Broncos, Tech Tiger basketball, and the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer and Connor Schuh. This is Goodland's Rocket 102.5, KKCI FM, Goodland, an NWKS radio station.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. Yesterday morning on November 18th, there was a fire at Eastern Colorado Seeds in Burlington, Colorado. The fire damage was contained to a single stack of hay, and nobody was hurt, nor was any equipment loss in the flames. The Burlington Fire Department, Kit Carson County Sheriff's Office, and the Burlington Police Department responded quickly to the scene yesterday and limited the spread of the fire. Oakley's school board election results became official yesterday as well. The Oakley School District bond vote was confirmed with a 506 to 486 vote, and so was the vote on the 1% sales tax meant to help the bond, passing with a 435 to 303 vote. Ryan Joseph and Doug Reed city council victories were made official as well, with the two receiving 362 and 353 votes respectively. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Today we got a dense fog advisory in effect until 10 a.m. here this morning. Please drive with caution due to low visibility. The fog will burn off, leading to sunny afternoon skies and mild high temperatures in the lower to mid 60s. Overnight winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour shift from the southwest to the east-southeast. Expect fog to redevelop with lows in the upper 30s. Tomorrow we'll have that foggy, cloudy start. Rain chances will increase by late afternoon and evening. Highs will be in the mid-50s, and then Thursday night and Friday, widespread rainfall of 1 inch or more is likely. Western areas in eastern Colorado may see a rain-snow mix, and lows will stay above freezing in most other areas. Friday will be colder in the mid to upper 40s. Southeast winds will turn to a northeast direction at 10 to 15. Saturday and Sunday, pleasant fall conditions in the mid-50s to low 60s and lows in the mid-30s. This is meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring home the flavor with a great selection of grills and smokers from brands like Traeger, Blackstone, Green Egg, and more. And right now, the lumber prices are low, and so are the temperatures, making it the best season to tackle those outdoor projects. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps.
He's at the 10, the 5, he dives for the end zone, he's in! Touchdown, Cowboys!
To the pros.
Line drive, left field, base hit! Here comes McMahon, he'll score! Ball game!
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the insurance agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Tearing the drive, Spicer from 30. Oh, my Lord. Spicer from deep, and he lost it. Aberdeen got a piece of it.
Well, he timed that out so well on the Euro.
Away to Diabate, Kentucky by 3.
Tipping a steal for Dawson. 2-on-1 break. Dawson a lob and a big-time jam. Flory beat Dunga. Fires it home.
Tiller drive.
Misses, but Rosario towers above and spikes it down. What a play for Cole Rosario.
White to Council. They're playing fetch back and forth. Council, a desperation 3. He hit it. The biggest bucket of Council's young career, and the deficit cut in half.
And good Wednesday morning, everybody. A foggy, cool, fall-like Wednesday morning. This is what fall should feel like. This is how it should be. Everything feels right in the world right now. The cooler temperatures, the fog, as I always like to compare, can I see the water tower from outside the window? No, I cannot. So a light fog this morning. Be careful as you're out there traveling around, but glad you decided to join us here for a Wednesday edition of the Morning Blitz. He's Connor Schuh. I'm Ross Volkmer, and glad that you are with us. Connor, how are we feeling today? Good? Rested? Ready to go?
I'd say so. I mean, another day, another good day of work.
6 eggs in the stomach and ready to rock.
As always, plus a bagel.
Got to get that carb. Got to get that carb in there too. Helps get those neurons firing this morning. But big show ahead today. We will be visiting with, or I should say, Connor visited yesterday with the play-by-play voice of the Denver Broncos, Dave Logan. He'll be joining us coming up in the bottom of the hour. We'll play that interview for you. We will get to coming up as well and later on in the program. It's the opener tonight for Fort Hays Tech Northwest and Colby Community College men's and women's basketball for conference play. The Jayhawk Conference has their opening games tonight. Some quick thoughts on those matchups. New college football playoff rankings have dropped as well. We have the College Football Power 5 coming up here in just a little bit. But before we get into that, I want to get into, once again, with our listeners, particularly our Kansas fans. How are we feeling this morning, Kansas fans? If you have thoughts, feelings on this, I would love to hear from our KU fans. How you feeling after the loss to Duke last night, 78-66? I want to know how KU fans are feeling at this point in time. After that loss last night to Duke in the Champions Classic. I don't know about you. Did you watch much of this? Did you have time to watch much of it? What were your initial takeaways from last night's game? I have a few thoughts, but I want to hear yours first.
I watched most of this game, so I have a lot to say, and I think one of the big takeaways was, I think as anyone could have probably gathered before this game happened, is that KU really needs Darren Peterson. A couple of the guys did step up. I mean, I think Trey White played pretty well, and Melvin Council had a nice second half to kind of step up and fill that outside scoring jolt, but no one could really... I feel like Darren Peterson's going to be the guy who runs this offense for the year, since they don't really have a true point guard starting. So he's typically that guy. And then Council and White had to kind of team up to do that. And I don't think it worked quite as well as they probably would have liked, I thought.
I think the thing that stood out to me, a couple of things. So when I got in a little bit late, had something I was going to initially, and then I got in late, and it was probably about halfway through the first half. So let's just say around the 10-minute mark, and may have been a little bit later than that in the game. But the thing that stood out to me was I was watching that game, and I tuned it on. I thought, well, I'm going to tune in, and Duke's going to be up by about 10. I was wrong. Kansas was up by about 5. And so I think I initially said yesterday on the show, I said, I think if Kansas wins this game, they have to come out and play with just unbelievable defensive intensity. And they did that. They really were good defensively early on. They were forcing tough shots, and Duke was unable to score points early on in the game. But I'm sorry, Kansas fans. I must be the bad luck Chuck, because as soon as I started watching, that is when Duke regained the lead and then ended up leading and then pretty much won the rest of the game. And Kansas kept it close throughout. I give them a lot of credit. Even without Darren Peterson, they kept this game close throughout. Despite maybe an 8-0 run late in the game when Kansas got in some really bad foul trouble and had guys, sitting on the bench. but they kept it close throughout without their elite score. I mean, I think there's some big takeaways in this game. I think this is a offensive team offensively for Kansas without Darren Peterson. They're not going to be that great. So they better hope Kansas fans, Coach Bill Self, they all better hope that this injury for Darren Peterson is something that's only going to last here a few games and he's going to be back for the rest of the season. And it's not going to be something that lingers and nags throughout the season. Because if they don't have Darren Peterson and his offensive acumen on the floor, I think it's going to be a long year for Kansas basketball. They have to have him on the floor.
Without Peterson, they're like maybe not a tournament team. I don't know. I mean, they did hang with Duke for what it's worth, and they have other talent, but I don't know if it can really hold water for long enough for them to really be able to have some sustained success, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know, but if you read kind of the experts, the Seth Goodmans and whoever else you want to throw in there, Andy Katz, they're kind of like, when Darren Peterson gets back, Kansas is going to be in fine shape. And that's probably true, but he is the offensive engine. He is going to be that guy that puts up a lot of points. So they have some nice pieces out there. Cole Rosario and Bryson Tiller. Melvin, like you said, Melvin Council had probably his best offensive game of his young Kansas career. So they did some things well last night. But once again, and like Brian just texted in FB Bank text line 785-899-2222. Brian chimed in and said, he goes, he thought they played pretty darn good considering the situation. He said, I expected a blowout by Duke, and KU looked pretty impressive. Look, I would agree on that. I thought Duke was going to win that game and cover the 10.5. If you said, Ross, you got to put money on it, I said, well, I'll take Duke to cover.
Well, they covered.
7. Oh, yeah, you're right. They did. It was 78-66 when all said and done. I guess. So I would have won money then, I guess. But my point was, throughout the game, it was a lot closer. And give credit to them despite not having that offensive firepower that they're supposed to have with Darren Peterson. But defensively, they were pretty solid. And so I got to give him a lot of credit there. Before we move on, I did clip some Bill Self audio. What did the coach think post-game following his team's loss there to Duke? He wasn't all down. Definitely some things to improve upon, though.
Not disappointing. I'm not going to say that at all because we tried hard. We did some good things, but we didn't play very smart at all. I mean, God almighty, we shot selection and what coverage we're in on ball screens. I mean, we didn't trust it. I actually thought we could have really guarded them, and we did several times, but then just it was too easy for them too many times. And then when you have to get stops, it puts so much pressure that you can't screw up. And we had some bad possessions late. But our execution is so bad offensively, so bad. And it'll help obviously when Darren's out there, but still though, I mean, our guys, we just don't execute and run it. And the moment was pretty big for a lot of guys. Melvin, Bryson, Cole, they haven't been in that moment. Jaden, and for the most part, I mean, they did some good things, and we'll get better from that. But when the moment got really big and we had to execute and think, that's when it kind of got away from us.
I don't know. I would agree with almost everything that he said in that game there last night. I don't know about you there, but I thought that pretty cute. I mean, like I said, defensively, I think they were good early. Offensively, execution. I mean, once again, when you're missing that big of a piece that I think it's the cornerstone of their offense, it's hard to do that.
It really is, and they have to rely on defense much, much more when they don't have Darren Peterson. And it kind of worked for a little bit of that first half, especially the first 10 minutes. They came out the gate playing so hard, but I don't know if it was really sustainable for them to do that without consistent offensive production, because you can't shoot 19% from three and really expect to win today.
Yeah, not really. You're exactly right. But they have Flory Badunga, who I think is going to try his hardest every single game to
He was good.
Yeah, he's one of the best back to the basket big men in the entire nation, and he continued to show that. And they did what I thought they had to do. They had to kind of get out and run in transition. Don't think they want to play half court stuff that often without Peterson on the floor. They did that, but it just seemed like every time Kansas got close, got within three, Duke had an answer. whether it was Camden Boozer or her brother, what is it? Cameron? It's Cameron
Camden,
and Caden.
it's Cameron and Caden, yeah.
Yeah, Caden Boozer had a couple of nice buckets in there too. So I don't know. I wouldn't feel bad, and it looks like Kansas fans are feeling pretty optimistic, judging by the FB Bank text line. Kyle chimes in. He goes, even with the loss, they look like a team that can compete, but have to get some better perimeter shooting until Peterson gets back. Without Peterson, Kansas is a team that's going to have to sit down and defend elite competition like it did last night. Even without Peterson, Kansas looked better than Kentucky did against Michigan State.
True.
True. Michigan State came out and just threw a haymaker right there and knocked Kentucky down, and they could not get back up. Speaking of that should be this once again, I'm fascinated to follow this storyline. The SEC gets a whole bunch of love, in football and in basketball.
Undeserved.
Just remember, the Big Ten has owned the SEC to this point in time. Purdue beat Alabama on the road. Michigan State just took down Kentucky in a neutral site. Nebraska beat Oklahoma in a neutral site. Okay, so far the SEC, I'm sure there's SEC wins in there somewhere. I haven't seen all the results, but just keep that in mind.
They don't exist.
So just keep that in mind, people. Just keep that in mind, because there are opportunities. The Big Ten has shown that it is better than the SEC early on here this year, at least early on. So yeah, once again, Kansas falls to Duke, but I think overall it looks like Kansas, Jayhawk Nation, and I would say you can't feel too bad, all things considered, without Darren Peterson. But boy, you better hope and pray that this hamstring injury or another nagging injury doesn't come up and linger throughout the season, because it's going to be a tough year to overcome without having probably, if not the best, one of the best players in all of college basketball. But Kansas losing last night. Okay, let's transition here. Let's get into our college football Power 5. Gonna have to be a fast edition of the college football Power 5, but the best news is it is a turd of a week of games. Let me tell you, it is a turd of a week of games. So if you got Christmas lights to hang up on the house, if you've got something to do this weekend, Saturday might be the day for you, because there's not a lot of great matchups in this week's edition of the College Football Power 5. So, Connor, I'll let you start. What do you got to get us going here?
So my honorable mention is Eastern Illinois at Alabama. No, I'm kidding. That tells you how bad the slate is. Quick honorable mention is number 22, Mizzou, at number 8, Oklahoma. I think Bo Perbula might be hurt right now, so that kind of swings things in a weird direction. I could be wrong, but that's a fine game. But my number 5, KU at Iowa State. Iowa State's still pretty banged up, and they just lost their starting tight end, Gabe Burkle, for the year. So now they're even more banged up. And KU, at this point, they're just trying to get that final win for bowl eligibility. And this would have to be the one, because beating Utah next week would really be a tough task. But this should be a solid game.
My honorable mention game, I'm going with Michigan at Maryland. The reason for this is two really good young quarterbacks. People, if you like good young quarterbacks, this game's got it both. Whether it be Bryce Underwood at Michigan or the Washington kid there for Maryland, they are very, very good. Young, talented quarterbacks, both true freshmen. They've played well all season long. I think Michigan wins this game very convincingly. Because once again, it's the Maryland fade, as it's become to known around the Big Ten. They fade at the end of the season. They play good early and they fade. So the Maryland fade is in full force, but these two young quarterbacks are something to watch. In what's the Washington kid's first name? Is it Marcus Washington? Malik Washington. Thank you. And Bryce Underwood. Two great young quarterbacks in Michigan and Maryland. Makes my honorable mention game this week in the College Football Power 5.
Number 5.
My number 5 game, I'm going to go with a tie with the game that you mentioned, Kansas at Iowa State or Nebraska at Penn State. KSU-ISU has always been pretty entertaining. And if my memory serves correctly, Kansas has kind of owned ISU underneath Lance Leipold. They've kind of had the higher, had more success, has Leipold against Campbell. So I think this could be an interesting game, even despite all the injuries, as Connor said. And then Nebraska at Penn State, I just want to see if the Huskers have a pulse at Penn State. I think it's going to be a very difficult game. I think Penn State on Senior Day is going to be motivated. They need to win 2 more games to get to bowl eligibility, and what has been an unbelievable disappointing season for them when they started, number 1 in the nation when the season began. And I want to see what TJ Lateef does against a much, much better defense. And I think it will be a much stiffer task on the road in Happy Valley coming up here on Saturday night on NBC. So there's a tie for number 5 here in the College Football Power 5. All right.
Number 4.
We've got some dirty Big Ten football here at number 4. Minnesota at Northwestern. Each of these teams I would argue, have been pretty solid this year. I can't lie. Minnesota, they've got a bowl game locked up. Northwestern is trying to get that 6th win to do the same thing, trying to look for another decent year under David Braun. But over on that Minnesota side, I still like their freshman quarterback, Drake Lindsey. He's kind of faltered down the stretch after a really, really nice start, but they got a great running back in Darius Taylor. He's a lot of fun to watch, and well, he popped against your Huskers a few weeks ago, 148 yards.
Oh, gosh, don't remind me of that nightmare of a night. Gosh, that was horrible.
So can he do it against Northwestern and, bump up their, their standing in the Big Ten, or can Northwestern go and get that bowl eligibility with their good rushing attack? They've got a guy, I think his name is Caleb. Oh, geez, here we go. Caleb Komalafe. Yeah,
that's right. It is Komalafe. Very good.
Him and Joseph Hyman are a pretty good 1-2 punch in the backfield. I like watching them run, and they have a decent front line, so I will be watching, I think.
I just love the title. Big Ten Dirty Football. That's what
it is.
It's not pretty. Number 4 for me is Louisville at SMU. The Cardinals have faded themselves here down the stretch, a couple late losses. They're now, I think, number 19 or 20th, depending what ranking you look at. And they're going to SMU, who, by the way, is a favorite over the 20th ranked Cards. So SMU, a team that was in the cultural playoff last year, not even ranked, but a favorite against a team that's trying to hang on and get into the ACC title game, is Louisville. Big game for Louisville. That's number 4 for me on my College Football Power 5 here in week number 13.
Number 3.
Number 12, BYU at number 25. Cincy, BYU's kind of got to bounce back after getting punched in the mouth last week. And Cincy hasn't had the greatest play down the stretch after, I'd say, a more fun start to Big 12 play. I think there was a good amount of time there where they were undefeated. And granted, they're still 7-3, and Brennan Sorsby is still a lot of fun to watch. So I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring matchup, as these games usually are, just in the nature of the conference. And I think the only issue, Evan Pryor, one of the top runners for Cincy, I think he's banged up, but they have Tawee Walker, who's been having a good season.
Tawee!
He's awesome. And then for BYU, I mean, who doesn't love Bear Bachmeier, quarterback wearing number 47? That's the appeal there.
Talk about two quarterbacks that are kind of similar, guys that are big guys that can throw the ball but are also very good runners. Very similar. The only difference is Sorsby's like 4 years older than Bear Bachmeier.
And faster.
Yes, that's true. Sorsby could be a really good NFL quarterback. We'll see where he goes and who can develop him, but he could be really, really good. He's kind of like a Josh Allen a little bit. Same build, same kind of thing like that. Kind of. We'll see. Depends on development. All right, my number 3 game to the SEC, a game that you mentioned. I'm surprised it's not higher on your list. Missouri at Oklahoma. Look, could this be a letdown game for Oklahoma? They have just won back-to-back times against the Death Star that is Alabama, or has been for over a decade. And this time they beat them on the road in Tuscaloosa. Now they come home to take on a team that they know pretty well from the olden days of the Big 12, Missouri, and a team that they've owned over the course of their time. Is this a letdown game? Golly, Missouri has got such a great rushing attack. Ahmad Hardy, remember the name. That guy can run the football. He is really. Ran for over 300 yards last week for Missouri. Can they shut down him? I don't know. It's a great defensive squad. Missouri past him is not great offensively, but they're a good defensive team. I feel like the under would be a good number here. Very good defensive squads between Missouri and Oklahoma. Could be a letdown game for the Sooners. My number 3 game.
Number 2.
Number 22, Pitt at number 16, Georgia Tech. Tech is trying to keep pace with Miami right now for that top spot in the ACC. I think that's probably going to be your ACC championship game unless something goes terribly wrong. Tech is 9-1 at this point. They stumbled against NC State, and they kind of had a scare against Boston College, one of the worst Power 5 teams last week. And Pitt, I mean, they got embarrassed last week. That wasn't very fun how they played.
He doesn't care. Narduzzi said we could lose by 100. I don't care.
I don't agree with that, but they're probably going to be, I mean, that's just public perception. I'm sure he's not feeling too great about that one, and he wants to make a statement and go and try and throw out that last gasp in the ACC, which would be a win against Georgia Tech. Unlikely, but you never know.
This is my number 2 game as well. I think there's 2 games that are 1 and 2 to this week in college football slate, but the ACC. I could read it wrong, but isn't this an ACC title game kind of on the spot? I mean, if whoever wins this game kind of puts themselves in position to be in the ACC title game, barring they don't lose the next week.
I'd say Louisville and Virginia are still in the mix too.
Right. I'm not saying that they're not, but depending on if you lose this game, you really put yourself behind the 8 ball and trying to make the ACC title game.
Oh, definitely.
So, the final 2 spots in my cultural Power 5, and I'm sure the same for you, they're almost like elimination games from the college football playoff. Because if you don't win this game, you don't have a shot at trying to possibly make it in the championship game of your conference. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Kind of thing. So Pitt, Georgia Tech. Pitt's defense has usually been pretty good. Narduzzi's a pretty good offensive mind. Can they slow down Hayes King, who, by the way, is the toughest quarterback in the nation? The way, besides maybe anybody who runs for the Naval Academy or Army or Air Force, Hayes King has got to be the toughest quarterback because that guy gets rocked, and he just keeps on taking carries. He's fun to watch. But Pitt at Georgia Tech is my number 2 game as well. And number 1, we all know where we're going here.
Number 1.
Exactly. It's USC, Oregon.
That dirty Big Ten football.
Oh, this is clean Big Ten football here. These teams don't like to play in the trenches as much, although they both have decent front sevens, but known for their air attack. These are 2 teams that are, well, Oregon is more on the inside looking out at USC, who's trying to claw their way into the college football playoff. And if they beat Oregon, I have a hard time not putting them in because they would get UCLA in their final week, and then you can kind of just waltz in there at that point, and then Oregon might be on the outside looking in, or they could be an extra team in from the Big Ten, which I think is totally possible, especially with the SEC kind of beating up on each other right now and teams kind of knocking each other off a little bit. But I'm really excited for this game. Probably going to be higher scoring, and it just really entertaining.
How do I want to put this? Yes, I would agree with you on everything that you said. You were exactly right on everything you said. It could help the Big Ten possibly get 4 teams in instead of 3. USC has kind of slowly been getting better throughout the year. I mean, it's been a slow climb. Where Oregon started out high and has kind of faded a little bit here. They haven't looked as great, but they've still won. So interested to see where these 2 teams meet. But yeah, this is no doubt the best game. As I put in here, it's a college football playoff spot. A college football playoff spot is on the line. You win, you're almost in, barring a letdown. You lose, you really leave it in the hands of the committee, and that may not work out really well. By the way, just on this side note, because it fits the topic, it is a Pac-12 Saturday on Saturday. You want to know why it's a Pac-12 Saturday? Because USC is at Oregon, Cal visits Stanford, Arizona State's at Colorado, and Washington goes to UCLA. It's a Pac-12 Saturday.
Warms my heart. Love it.
Makes you feel good. There you go. So the college football Power 5 here in week number 13. Like I said, overall, it's kind of a turd of a weekend. It's not that great. But otherwise, I think a pretty solid performance. A solid couple of games there that are going to mean some things. But overall, not a great week. Before we get to the break, another thought came in from our great listener, Michael, who's a huge fan, of course, of the Broncos and the Kansas Jayhawks. He thought his Jayhawks played well against Duke, despite without Peterson. When he comes back, he goes, looks like they did not have an identity when he's not there. When he returns, to be better. He says Rosario, a little disappointed in Rosario with the hype that he had this summer. Young guy that's got.
He had a rough game though.
I mean, geez, young guy. You can't expect some guys to be all. Not everybody's like Darren Peterson who come in out of high school and are just ready to play college ball. Some guys need some time to develop. I think Cole Rosario has shown enough early on that he's going to be a really good college basketball player. He just needs more time to develop. I think that's the thing. Now, the rest of the team for Kansas, once again, I would agree with him. They need Peterson there to be good offensively. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, Connor was able to reach out and get a hold of Dave Logan, play-by-play voice of the Denver Broncos. He visited with him yesterday. We'll play that interview for you next. Stick around. This is the Morning Blitz on a foggy Wednesday.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
We've been serving ag families for generations because we believe farming isn't just a job, it's a legacy. Whether you're just starting out or expanding your operation, F&B Bank has flexible lending solutions designed for you. This is Loan Officer Kennedy Frank at F&B Bank. We're proud to be your hometown ag lender, member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Grimes, the Anderson Trade Group, and your morning market update. It is November 19th. These corn futures, 434 1/4. March 26th, 447 1/2. May 26th, 455. December KC wheat, 526 1/2. March 26th KC wheat, 542 3/4. May 26th KC wheat, 554 3/4. January soybeans, 1144 1/4. March 26th soybeans, 1151 1/4. May 26th soybeans, 1158 1/4. Dow Jones futures are currently up 39 points at 46,220. S&P 500 futures are currently up 12 points at 6,651. NASDAQ futures are currently up 62 points at 24,657. Gold futures are currently up 42 points at 4,109. Crude is currently down $1.52 at 59.22. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our freedom pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office. Jared Law, Tyler Gosh, Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. In Colorado, John Hankey and John Stiles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at CISA.gov/secure our world. Then share them with family and friends.
You'd never settle for underperformance. You'd never settle for less than maximum yield. You'd never settle for gaps in the stand. So why settle for anything less than DeKalb corn? DeKalb seed is for those who make outstanding performance a priority. With a broad portfolio of products bred to maximize profit potential on every field. DeKalb brand corn. Never settle. Visit DeKalb.com. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices. You'd never settle for underperformance. You'd never settle for less than maximum yield. You'd never settle for gaps in the stand. So why settle for anything less than DeKalb corn? DeKalb seed is for those who make outstanding performance a priority. With a broad portfolio of products bred to maximize profit potential on every field. DeKalb brand corn. Never settle. Visit DeKalb.com. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
Whether it's touchdowns, home runs, or buzzer beaters, we've got you covered. It's the Morning Blitz.
A couple things real quickly here. First and foremost, coming up December 2nd is going to be the Sherman County Gives Match Day happening at the Price Convention Center here in Goodland. I got a big old flyer for it. Big old flyer. You can see it on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. I am, and we'll see if Connor wants to make it over here. I'm going to be broadcasting live from there on that Tuesday morning, live from Match Day. And so we'll be there broadcasting Morning Blitz. If Connor makes the trip over, great. If not, it's understandable. But I will be there broadcasting live.
What day is this again?
Say, what was that?
What day is this again?
It's a Tuesday, December the 2nd.
Ooh, I'll be around.
So if you want to come on over to Goodland, and we'll have the show live there from Match Day. We'll hang out. We'll do that there for Match Day. Going to be a great day. So come check us out there live at broadcasting live from Sherman County Gibbs Match Day at the Price Convention Center. It'll be a fun day, and you can say hello to us. We'll be there sipping coffee and chatting up the people while we talk sports on a Tuesday, leading into the first Friday night of high school basketball, because it'll be that Friday and things will be tipping off. And recapping anything else we can come up with. Before we get to Dave, we did get an interesting question from Kyle on the text line. Did you see this?
Oh, yeah.
Kyle wants to know, between Nebraska basketball and Ohio State basketball, who's more likely to make the tournament this year? I can't wait till they play. We're putting money on that.
They had some great games last year, so I think we're going to get more this year. Two close teams.
Actually, I think Ohio State is in one guy's power rankings. Ohio State is 7 and Nebraska. Ohio State is either 7 or 8, and Nebraska's 8 or 9. Ohio State's ahead by just 1. So
we're hiring Ken Palm.
Yeah, okay. By how much?
I think
quite a bit.
10, I think.
Yeah, early in the season. We'll see what happens. Yeah. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. Great question, Kyle. I'm fascinated to find out what that'll be like. And hopefully my wallet's a little bit fatter when it's all
Ohio State.
Of course he would. I'll just play the middleman here. Anyway, we got to move on. As I mentioned, coming up later on, we'll get to the Jayhawk Conference openers for both Colby Community College and Fort Hays Tech Northwest. I had a question about Chris Kleiman and his audio regarding Lincoln Cure and Goodland football and the walk-off. I'll touch on that. We'll get to all that coming up here at the end of the show. But before we do that, yesterday, our very own Connor Schuh reached out to the Broncos radio network and was able to get a hold of Dave Logan. And so any front story or backstory of this, or just play the dang interview, Ross, and let's go.
Let's get it going.
All right, here once again, Connor Schuh visiting with the play-by-play voice of the Denver Broncos, Dave Logan.
Hello and welcome back to the Morning Blitz here on KKCI Rocket 102.5, the home of your Denver Broncos here in Northwest Kansas. I'm Connor Schuh, and here with me, taking time out of his day, is Dave Logan, Denver Broncos play-by-play announcer. Dave, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Absolutely good day, and look forward to talking to you.
Well, Dave, this season has been it feels like a miracle season. 9-2 for the Broncos. You guys are rolling into the bye week right now. How much fun has it been calling these games this year?
Oh, it's a lot more fun when they're playing well, right? I've been blessed to have done it for a long time, seen some really good football, great football, Super Bowl championship football, seen some tough times over the last handful of years. But this year has a little bit of a magical feel to it, and you can go back to the Giants game. I mean, coming back from a 19-0 deficit in the third quarter and scoring 33 points in the fourth, and getting the lead and giving up the lead and then reclaiming the lead. And so I said at that point, this year might just be a little magical. And I think, we'll see how this thing plays out, but it's a good young team. And I think beating the Chiefs in the way they did, and the Chiefs completely healthy and Mahomes playing, and of course, Coach Reed's record coming off a bye week at 22-4, to win a hard-fought game like that, I think just is another confidence boost for this young team.
So you mentioned that Chiefs game. Take me through that a little bit, because, of course, last year you had the opposite happen. Lutz gets his kick blocked. This time he makes the kick to win the game in one of many crazy games this year for the Broncos. Just walk me through what it was like calling that moment.
You mean calling the moment of the field goal?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually said I was thinking what every Broncos fan, or at least most of them, were thinking at that time. How ironic that a year ago the same kicker lined up on the same yard line for a chance to beat the Chiefs. And I said during the broadcast, I'm not going to mention what is the obvious, but and then after the kick was made, I think I said something like, they didn't get this block and the Broncos win. But there was a tad bit of irony there with how the game played out. And Will Lutz has been such a clutch kicker. I think the 35-yarder was the game winner, but he had a 54-yarder in the fourth quarter with the Broncos down 3 and 4 minutes and change left. I mean, if he doesn't hit that, maybe the outcome of this game is entirely different. But Lutz going into that game on Sunday in fourth quarter or overtime kicks from inside of 50 in his career was 64 of 66. So I think it's one of the attributes that Will has, and one of the reasons that Sean Payton wanted to bring him here is that he's clutch, and he's a guy you can trust that when you have to have a kick, he's going to find a way more times than not to make that kick.
We're talking to Dave Logan here on the Morning Blitz on Rocket 102.5, your home of the Broncos. So, of course, you had a long playing career yourself, so you know more than most play-by-play guys how important having a clutch kicker on your roster is. So, you kind of spoke to it there, but yeah, how important is it having a guy that you can trust like that?
Well, I think from a player standpoint, it's awesome because the absolute worst thing, from a guy who plays every down and is not a kicker, the worst thing that can happen is that you in a hard-fought game, drive the ball down, or you're part of an offense that drives the ball down, and then your kicker winds up missing the kick at the end of the game. And literally you think for several moments you're going to win the game, and you almost celebrate in your mind the job that just was accomplished, moving this ball down into field goal range, and then the kick is missed. And I've been there as a player. That's a tough thing to deal with. But again, I think it's important on any really good team. More times than not, you're going to have a guy that is clutch. It's one thing to hit a kick in the first quarter. It's another thing to hit a kick like Lutz did, the 54-yarder with 4 minutes left in the game, or 4 minutes and change, and your team is down 3. So, I think the team has as much confidence in Will Lutz as Sean Payton does.
And to this point, he's had his mark stamped on plenty of these incredibly close games that have really turned the tides in this season. And you mentioned earlier how magical this season has been overall, but obviously there's a lot left on the table. Obviously, playoffs coming up and still a whole handful of games left. To this point, where does this kind of sit on like your hierarchy of seasons you've called here?
Well, it's been exciting. No doubt about that. I think this team is in position, and I don't know that anybody actually saw them being in this position. Maybe Sean did at the start of the season. He mentioned prior to the first game that he thought this was one of 6 or 7 teams that he coached that had the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. Now, I think that comment in the preseason really took a lot of people by surprise. He also said that Bo Nix he thought would be in the top 5 of quarterback play this year. And so I think what he did, whether he intended to or not, he raised the expectation level of Broncos fans with that comment. Now they start 1-2, and now they've won 8 games in a row. So, to me, just sort of given the state of the AFC currently, even though the Broncos probably would not admit this publicly, but I think it's okay not only to look about, hey, we're going to find a way to win the West, but now I think it's okay to say we've got to do what we need to do so that we can secure the number 1 seed in the AFC. That would give you a bye after the regular season. Only the top seed gets a bye in each conference. And then, you know what, at that point, you got to win two home playoff games in order to get to the Super Bowl. It sounds maybe premature, sounds a little crazy, but I think given how this season has played out, I think that's perfectly normal. And I would say I would encourage them to think like that at this point.
And a season like that, any season at that, sometimes it starts with the quarterback. In Bo Nix in his sophomore season, obviously there's been a lot said about him, good or bad. What have you thought about his performance leading this football team?
I thought Sunday against Kansas City he was really good. I thought the previous game against the Raiders he looked unsettled. I thought his feet were unsettled. He looked like he was hesitant at times. But 10 days between those 2 games, you could tell that he had, with his coaches, had really worked on several things. I thought he stayed in the pocket. He didn't flush too early. When he did leave, he was able to keep his eyes up and make good throws on the run, evidenced in that last drive, the 3rd and 15 completion to Cortland Sutton for 20. I mean, that's a huge play. That's right at the 2-minute mark. And if they don't convert 3rd and 15, they're going to have to punt the ball back, and Mahomes and company are back in the field. So I thought Bo was really good throwing for what he threw for 295 yards. I think no turnovers in a really important game. So his play Sunday against Kansas City, I think, would give a lot of people in that building an optimistic view in terms of how good this young guy can be.
We're talking to Dave Logan here on the Morning Blitz on Rocket 102.5, your home for Broncos football and KKCI. Dave, you look at this season and how Bo's played, and then you kind of look back a little bit. When is the last time that a Broncos team has, I guess you could say, had maybe this much hope or hype around them this deep into the season?
Well, you'd probably have to go back to 2015. I mean, the Broncos this year are 9-2. The last time a Broncos team was 9-2 was 2015, and that was the year, obviously, that they went to the Super Bowl and beat Carolina in Super Bowl 50. So, and there are some components of this team that I think are similar. There was a team that they were really good on defense. It was a team that at times, I mean, Peyton was compromised a little bit physically, Peyton Manning. In fact, he missed some games and Brock Osweiler took over, but there were times that the offense really struggled to kind of put things together. We've seen that from time to time with the offense this year for the Broncos. So, yeah, I think the last time, to your question, the last time that I think there was this much optimism, you'd have to go back 10 full years.
And that makes total sense. I mean, each team with such elite defenses like you talked about. And this defense, I think to many, there are some names on there that they might not recognize in the national spotlight. Who are some guys, in your view, on that defensive side of the football that have just really stuck out for you this year?
Oh, I think, gosh, there are so many. I mean, you in no particular order. I mean, you start with the edge pass rushers, Nick Benito and Jonathan Cooper. Both those guys have had excellent years. You start with the inside tackles. I mean, Zach Allen has been really good. John Franklin Myers, I think, is an underrated defensive tackle. Malcolm Roach is back healthy, missed a lot of the first part of the year. DJ Jones has had a good year. Dre Greenlaw has missed a lot of the first part. Now he is healthy. Alex Singleton had the diagnosis of testicular cancer, and so he missed this last game, but the reports are good. After surgery, he's going to be back soon. I thought he was having a heck of a year inside. Justin Stranad, who's played the inside linebacker when Greenlaw was out and when Singleton was out, I think he's been good. Talanoa Hufanga and Brandon Jones at corner. Pat Surtain is the best corner in the league, but he's been out some. I just think there's some. Jaquan McMillan had an interception and 2 sacks in that game against Kansas City. So they've been getting, which you have to if you're going to be a championship caliber team, they've been getting a lot of guys that have stepped up and contributed. And 1 week somebody will make a big play, and then the next week it might be somebody else. But that's what you have to have if you're going to be a team that not only can get to, but can make a deep run in the playoffs.
And then the team gets the bye week, and then you're on that home stretch towards the playoffs. How excited are you to get ready to just watch this team kind of get it done?
Well, as I said before, I think it's been a lot of fun. This is my 36th year calling Broncos games. It's more fun for the play-by-play guy if the team is playing well and winning games, and so this team certainly has. I think more importantly than me, I think it's been fun for Broncos fans everywhere. Those that get a chance to go to the game, or those that maybe live a bit too far out and just want to listen to or watch the game. I think they've enjoyed sort of the climb for this young team, right? I think the thing to remember is this year is great, and who knows how this thing is going to end. But this is a young team with guys, especially in offense, that are just sort of learning what it takes to be an excellent player in this league. So I think this year I'm excited to see how it ends, and I think for the future, for the next 2, 3, 4 years, I think it's bright as well.
Well, Dave, I think that's about all I've got for you. We really appreciate you hopping on here, and hey, thank you for your time.
You bet. Enjoy talking with you.
Thank you. You as well, Dave. Everyone, that was Dave Logan, voice of the Denver Broncos, here on KKCI 102.5 or Rocket 102.5 here on the Morning Blitz. We'll be back with the rest of the show.
Once again, Connor Schuh right there with an interview with Dave Logan. Excellent stuff there from Dave and excellent stuff from Connor. Connor, we'll take a break now. As Connor said, we'll come back and wrap up the shows. We're up against the clock here on a Wednesday.
This season, the Mile High Magic is live on Rocket 102.5. Every hit, every pick, every end zone dance, we've got it all.
5-man pressure. Rogers hit before he throws it. Sack! P.J. Locke bounced up into the air, bounced again, and then caught by Devon Vele. Touchdown, Denver.
Brought to you by
Vince's GM Center, Proxy Feed Yard Imperial Beef, Simbelman Jewelry, Tubbs & Sons Ford Sales, F&B Bank, and Hurl Chevrolet GMC.
your home for Denver Broncos football. Rocket 102.5.
Hello, this is Rock Bedore with Homeland Realty and Auction of Colby. We have a lot of buying interest in ag land properties right now and would love to share our expertise and longtime experience with you. Homeland Realty and Auction, where we still offer good old Western hospitality.
Homeland at homelandre.com.
Upstairs, downstairs, the showrooms are full at Deckmark Furniture. Name brand furniture, dining rooms, chairs, sofas, recliners, and more. Name brand appliances, too. 408 Main Street, downtown Scott City. It's Deckmark Furniture. Boy, do they have a sale going on.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
New owners, new inventory, new attitude at the all-new Grinnell Liquor Store. Open evenings later than most. They're open Sundays, too, with owners Shad and Christina Barnett. They invite you in to see the different kinds of bourbons, wines, spirits of all kinds, winter brews, too. A lot of beer here. On Main Street, it's the Grinnell Liquor Store.
From skills to drills, be sure to join the GAC and the GHS Cowboy and Cowgirls basketball players for our upcoming basketball camps. Check out our website at goodlandgac.com and our Facebook page for upcoming camp dates. Register online or stop by 808 Main.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Just a few things to wrap up here on a Wednesday program. I forgot to mention earlier, K-State women bouncing back to beat Troy last night, 81-59. Jayhawk Conference opener tonight. As I mentioned, Colby Community College basketball at home hosting Independence. You're going to go watch some CCC hoops tonight since you love college basketball so much?
I think that could be in the cards.
Yeah, got that tonight. We'll see you. The Trojans, rocky last couple of games. The Trojan men 2-4 overall. They've lost 3 in a row heading into this conference opener against Independence, who was one of the top teams in the standings last year. And the Lady Trojans 3-3 overall have also lost 3 straight. Independence was one of the worst teams on the women's side in 2024-2025. Forties Tech Northwest going to Pratt. Tech men 4-1 have lost 3 straight entering tonight. They take on, as was mentioned during the program yesterday, Hunter Vaughn, former Colby High School Eagle, is the point guard. That was the guy who's talking about Steve Nash. Hunter Vaughn, one of my favorite players to ever cover here in Northwest Kansas on the basketball side. He was super talented and still is. I'm so fascinated to see where he goes, if he continues to play basketball and where he goes after this, because I think he's a very talented young man. Don't know if he gets the respect and love that he deserves for how good he is. But that's a tough time. That's a really good game there between Pratt and Northwest Tech, Forties Tech Northwest. And the Lady Tigers, by the way, will play Pratt as well. Search their first win of the Jordan Klein era. So some Jayhawk Conference hoops on tap for tonight. Anything else we missed here today?
I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but the new college football playoff rankings came out today. If you remember, Ohio State is first, number 2, Indiana, Texas A&M in the 4th spot.
Yeah, Ohio State, Indiana, A&M. There's 1, 2, and 3.
4. Yeah.
Yep. And then big mover, Alabama, dropping 6 spots to number 10 at this
Deserved.
point. Yep. What are your thoughts on Miami at 13th and Notre Dame 9th, despite Notre Dame beating Miami? Or sorry, Miami beating Notre Dame head-to-head early in the season.
It's a little weird. I think they should be a little bit closer, but I can kind of understand why they're there just because it was so long ago. These teams are, you could say they're different, much different at this point. So,
yep, very valid point. All right, on to the walk-off.
High drive, deep left, grand slam,
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
So I got a text message early this morning before the show from a listener. He was curious about the press conference. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago when it was Monday, when Chris Kleiman met with the media, and they were asking questions about Goodland's Lincoln Cure. And he said, and they were asking about him, how Lincoln, how he's developed, and taking this time ago. And he made a comment, well, he was playing 8-man football last year, which is not true. Goodland doesn't play 8-man football. And this listener, who doesn't have a name, he's just a texter, has a number, and he wanted to know what were your thoughts on Kleiman saying this about 8-man football. And first and foremost, Chris Kleiman has got he is juggling so many things each and every week, whether it's getting his football team ready, recruiting the 2026 class, raising money to keep his roster together, whatever it may be. There is stress all the time. I'm not going to worry about a guy who recruited another kid out of Kansas and thought he played 8-man football. Even though Chris Kleiman did come to a game and watch Lincoln play 11-man football, it was probably just a slip up. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But
I can't believe he said that.
Oh my God. Oh, are you really that torn up over it?
No.
It was a slip up is what it was. All right. Well, like I said, besides JUCO hoops tonight, not a whole lot else. You've got nothing else for it. You might as well just go to the CCC game to do. Get your lift in, get your pump on, and then and then go watch some hoops. Might as well.
I think there are a couple pretty great college games on tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Arizona and UConn are playing, I will say.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Something to watch tonight if you want to watch some more basketball. Well, that'll do it for us. For Connor, I'm Ross. See you back here again tomorrow on a Thursday. It's been the Blitz.